All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're talking about something that's moving super fast from just a tech topic into, well, our everyday lives, and that's AI literacy. We're going to unpack why getting a handle on AI is becoming a new, essential skill, not just for programmers, but for every single one of us. You know that feeling like things that used to be simple now have this extra layer of complexity? There are all these new tools, all this information flying around, and just trying to figure out how to use it all can feel a little weird, a little uncertain. If you felt that, you were definitely not alone. But here's the thing, and this is the key point from the source material we're digging into. That feeling isn't a sign of a crisis. It's the feeling of a massive transition. AI is becoming this general-purpose technology, kind of like the internet was, and it's changing how we do everything. We're right in the middle of a huge shift. So, to make sense of all this, here's how we're going to break it down. First, we'll talk about why this is the next essential skill. Then, we'll get into what AI literacy actually is. After that, we'll cover why it's more about participation than just productivity, why there's a unique window of opportunity right now, and finally, why it's our turn to shape where this all goes. Okay, so let's start with this first piece. To really get where we're headed, it actually helps to look back a bit, because the whole idea of what it means to be literate has never really stood still. It's always been evolving. I mean, for most of history, right, being literate just meant you could read and write. Simple. But then, as the world got more complex, numeracy, just basic math skills, became totally essential to get by. And what's so interesting is that AI literacy is now stepping into that exact same role. This isn't about becoming a tech expert. It's about being equipped to participate in the world as it's becoming. So what even is AI literacy? The term itself can sound a little intimidating, right? Like you need to be some kind of coding genius. But as we're about to see, it's really not what you probably think. Okay, first things first, let's get this out of the way. AI literacy is not about learning to code. It's not about understanding the super complex math happening under the hood. And that's a huge relief, right? It immediately makes this whole idea way more accessible to everyone. So if it's not about coding, what is it about? Well, it really boils down to three simple, very human things. Number one, can you clearly tell an AI what you want? Number two, can you look at what it gives you back and think critically about it? And number three, can you then take that output and apply it thoughtfully to whatever you're doing? See how all of that is built on human judgment? It enhances it, it doesn't replace it. And this is what makes right now so incredibly important. Unlike reading our math, the rules for AI literacy aren't written in stone yet. The standards are being figured out as we go. And what that means is that we, all of us, actually get a say in shaping what this new literacy becomes. Now, when you hear about AI, it's almost always about work, isn't it? Making things faster, more efficient. And yeah, that's part of it. But the deeper, more profound shift here is really about participation in society as a whole. Here's a good way to think about it. AI systems are increasingly becoming this new layer between us and complexity. They're helping us make sense of dense information or figure out confusing processes. They're becoming the new interface we use to interact with the digital world. And this puts us at a fork in the road with two very different paths ahead. On one side, AI could be this amazing bridge, making it easier for everyone to access opportunities. But on the other, if we're not careful, it could become a wall, making the divisions that already exist even wider. The stakes are just incredibly high. But here is the most empowering part of this whole thing. This is the real game changer. Because these new AIs run on language, you don't need to be a techie to use them. Your ability to just explain something clearly in plain English is now the key that unlocks these incredibly powerful tools. Clear communication is the new superpower. So that brings us to a really critical point about timing. We're in this unique and probably temporary window of opportunity. Getting your hands dirty with these tools now, while the rules are still being figured out, is just so important. I want to read this quote from the source material and just let it sink in. The risk is not getting things wrong, but being absent while informal standards of participation quietly take shape. In other words, the real danger isn't making mistakes while you're learning. The real danger is sitting on the sidelines while everyone else figures out how this is all going to work. When you start playing around with these tools now, you start to get a feel for them. You build an intuition. You gain a practical confidence that just grows and compounds on itself over time.
It's not about becoming an expert tomorrow. It's about getting comfortable while the ground is still soft.
Okay, so let's pull all of this together. This whole thing isn't just about you or me learning a new skill in a vacuum. It's bigger than that. It's a collective question for all of us about how we want to design our future. It's our turn to shape this. So what does being AI ready actually look like today? Well, it's simpler than you might think. It really comes down to these 3 steps. First, just engage. Don't be afraid to get it wrong. Second, experiment, but always with a healthy dose of skepticism. Don't just blindly trust what comes out. And third, start paying attention to the role these tools are already playing in our society. So how do you do that? Well, for starters, use AI as a thinking partner, like a brainstorming buddy, not as some all-knowing authority. Use it to test your ideas or to help you make sense of something complicated. Honestly, the most important thing you can do is just learn by doing. Because ultimately, AI literacy is becoming a piece of our shared infrastructure. It's like the roads or the internet. And how we build this new infrastructure, how thoughtfully, how inclusively, is going to decide who gets to benefit and who might get left behind. It really, really matters. So the story of AI literacy isn't finished. It's being written as we speak. The standards aren't set. And that leaves us with one last really important question to think about. How are you going to contribute?